Hey everyone, Jason and I are going to show you how to build a backyard pizza oven. If you love making pizzas, then this project is for you.
Not only is this a totally doable DIY, but a pretty sweet thing to have in your backyard.
Heads up, you can find all the links to the products we're using in the description below. Are you ready for a pizza party?
Let's go.
So the first thing you want to do is figure out where you're going to put your pizza oven. Location is very important, and here are a few things to consider. This is going to be a permanent installation, so plan accordingly.
Install your oven on sturdy, level ground. You may have to create your own foundation. You want the oven to have at least 3 feet of clearance on all sides. Consider a location that's easily accessible to your dining entertaining area.
For our oven location, we've chosen this area of the patio because it checks off all the boxes for us.
Now that we have our location, we need to determine the design.
There are many ways to make a pizza oven, all different shapes, sizes, and materials from clay to concrete to brick.
It really will depend on your location, personal preference, and DIY skill level. We're building a 3-foot by 3-foot base to accommodate for our 34-inch oven.
We're going for a wood fire design built from both bricks and pavers. It will have a dome-shaped oven and will even create a spot for firewood storage in the base.
Not only is this oven going to be functional, it's going to look great too. We know that our patio is 12 feet. First thing I'm going to do is measure and find the center and make a mark. That's where our first block will go. We're going to do a dry run with our first course to see how our layout looks. The base is going to be a 3 by 3. Each one of our blocks is 12 inches.
We're creating our base out of concrete pavers. We chose this material for a few reasons.
They're strong and sturdy enough to hold the weight of the oven, while still working aesthetically with the patio. We don't have to worry about the heat of the oven for the base, so the pavers don't need to be fire rated. Since we've decided that our base is going to be 36 by 36, and our full blocks measure to 31.5, we're gonna have to make a few cuts.
To cut our pavers, we're first using a speed square to mark our measurements. Then taking an angle grinder to score the paver on each side, cutting about 1/4 inch. Once scored, we'll use a chisel to finish the job.
Making sure that we're both level and square on our first course for our base is the most important step when building before we can go up.
So what we don't want is our joints to line up. We want to stagger them for structural integrity.
After we set our first row, we can start building upwards. To adhere our block together, we're going to use this landscape adhesive, especially formulated for this process. When I'm laying my glue down, I'm keeping it in towards the middle a little bit more, just so we're not getting any squeeze out. Now that we have our course laid here, let's make sure we flush it all up, give it a couple taps, and then always check for plumb and level on every course we do. All right, we've got our desired height. We're gonna check our level here.
And if you haven't caught on already, our theme of the day is make sure everything is level.
All right, we're ready for our capstone.
Our next step is to set the capstone that the oven will actually be built on. We built our base to the exact size to accommodate our capstone. To secure it, we're adding landscape adhesive on top of the paver base. Once it's in place, we're ready to start laying some brick. So we're gonna start with the fire brick, which is going to be used for the floor, where hot coals make direct contact with the brick.
Fire brick is essentially the same sort of brick you'd find inside of a fireplace.
We'll also lay the first course of our dome shape for the oven. For this, we're using clay brick, which will go around the perimeter of the fire brick.
It's a good idea to first lay out and dry fit your pattern.
Traditional pizza ovens have a herringbone floor, so that's the design we're going to do.
Now that we have our layout, we're going to mortar our brick. We're using high heat mortar suitable for ovens. We're mixing our mortar with water, following manufacturer's guidelines for ratios. For this application, we want our mortar to have a consistency of a milkshake.
Using a 10-inch brick trowel, we're applying a thin layer on the underside of the fire brick. We don't want to raise the height of the brick with the mortar, so just a thin layer will do the trick. Any mortar spills or drips onto the face of the brick can be easily cleaned up by using a damp sponge.
To make any cuts, we're again using an angle grinder.
Once we get this brick laid, we're going to wait 24 hours for it to set, and then we're going to start our dome. The reason you see the dome shape for most pizza ovens is science. It's an efficient design for cooking, mainly as it radiates the heat evenly from above, while also storing heat in the oven floor. The dome shape allows a space for air circulation above the cooking surface, creating high heat and kind of an oven inside an oven. That's why you can cook pizzas so quickly in a brick oven like this. In order to make the dome shape, we're going to build a mold out of wood.
This will be a temporary structure that we build our brick mold around. Then we'll remove it. We know that our fire brick floor is 27 inches, so that's the first measurement we have to take. Then we'll find center.
So essentially we'll be making an arch shape, and what we need to make that shape is a nail, string, and a pencil.
The string will be attached to the nail, and one end will be attached to the pencil. And that's how we're gonna make our arch. Now we're gonna cut this shape with a jigsaw. Now we have our oven opening. We're gonna make one exactly like this by tracing it on another piece of wood.
We'll attach each arc using 2x4s cut to size. Our last step is to take Luan and bend it over the structure. When complete, we'll have a solid mold to build our brick around.
We finished our mold. Remember, our bricks are gonna go around this, and this will be removed. So to help with that process, I'm gonna drill a couple holes. All right, our dome is in place. We're gonna get our mortar mixed up, get our bricks ready. We're gonna start building this dome.
For this mortar, it's going to be a little bit thicker than what we used for our fire brick, so that everything sticks properly as we start to form our dome.
So we're gonna do the whole face here, and we're gonna do one side for our vertical joint. When building our dome, we want to keep it staggered just like we did in our base. This keeps the dome stronger. So we're going to end up with half bricks throughout the process. This is a tuck pointer, but what I'm going to go back and do with this is fill in our voids. You can also use this to pump up your level of your brick to match our dome arc. Not only is this going to make it look good, it's also going to help support our next course when we go up.
So we want to keep in mind that we want to roll each brick to the shape of our dome as we build up. Now that we've made some progress, I want to show you how we varied our mortar lines to make the shape of our dome. As you can see at the bottom, it starts off as a little thinner, and as we work our way up, that mortar line gets thicker. So we're almost to the end. And now we're gonna move on to our chimney. So we left an 8x8 square, and then we're gonna go 4 courses high with our brick to build our chimney.
Our chimney is located at the front of our oven so that fresh air gets drawn in, hits our coals, rolls through, and comes out of our chimney and creates a nice natural convection.
All right, so our oven is complete and it looks pretty incredible.
We're just gonna wait a few days, wait for our mortar to dry up. Once our mortar's dry, it's gonna release from our wood. It'll make it a little bit easier to pull our mold out.
After all this hard work, I can't wait to cook some pizzas. So we've waited a few days for our mortar to dry. And what we're gonna do next is remove our wooden mold.
In a perfect world, this may come out in one piece, but we may be forced to break it down piece by piece.
For our removal process, we're using a combination of a hammer, pry bars, a utility knife, and an oscillating multi-tool to cut out and remove the wood in multiple pieces. Be aware of any exposed nails in the wood. Once removed, we're cleaning up the inside of the oven of excess mortar and dust. And then it's time to light this thing up.
We're building our fire in the back corner of the oven to allow space for pizzas and optimal heat distribution.
And now we have an amazing wood-fired pizza oven. It's also become a centerpiece on our patio.
We hope you enjoyed the process as much as we did and feel confident to build your own pizza oven at home.
All the products we used in this video can be found in the description below. Thanks for watching.